Hey, everybody. Thank you for being here today. I'm going to walk you through the structure of this episode up front, just so you have an idea of what to expect. First up, we're going to talk about blueprint scripting improvements that are coming in NvRTX 5.6. A number of refinements, ease of use features that will make setting up path traced and ray trace scenes a little bit easier. And then after that, we're going to talk about Unreal Fest, and we'll have a different guest on for that. It'll be Jay from Jay's Films. He's a real Unreal expert. Wanted to have him on just to share his experiences from Unreal Fest. And then we're going to look at the Paris marketplace scene that's been converted to NvRTX, and like DLSS 4 and path tracing have been added to it. So we can take a look at what that's like and how it was set up. And don't forget, stick around after the episode. We'll do a live Q&A at the end. Thank you. Hey, everybody. We're here with Homam Banasi, Principal Tech Artist at NVIDIA. He's going to show us some of the updates we have coming to NvRTX 5.6 in the way of blueprint scripting improvements, specifically around ray tracing, and an updated RTXDI test project, which will demonstrate how all this stuff works. So with that, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, thank you very much, Richard. And yeah, hello, everyone. So in this short section, hopefully, I'll try to show some of the new updates we did to NvRTX, specifically some of the updates related to RTXDI, which is the sampling-based ray tracing of direct lighting and indirect lighting. So in the last release, we added exposed some of the settings of RTXDI to the project settings. So if you go to rendering section, you will see under hardware ray tracing that you can now enable, disable different RTXDI features for direct lighting and other things for indirect lighting under the Lumen section.
Right.
Of course, like you can still do those setting controls from the CVARs, but we try to make them streamline things and make it more as a polished product. But if you want to have more granular control per level or per scene, yeah, we expose also things that to the post-process volume. So if we get one here and look under the different sections, you will see now a new section for sampled lighting. And under this one, there is a couple of subsections for controlling different RTXDI and ReSTIR GI settings. So most of those are not really, they're relatively new, but they are already available in 5.5. What we did for 5.6 is, on top of this, we tried to add now a blueprint library for controlling a lot of those important settings through blueprints. So if we open any blueprint for the level, for example, here, and right-click, search for RTXDI, we will see like we have a new section and a couple of blueprint nodes that allow you to control most of the important RTXDI settings that usually developers need when they expose those settings into the game UI. So you don't have to like do as before, execute console commands to toggle different RTXDI settings. This is, I think, is going to be a cleaner way and more elegant in terms of implementing them into blueprints.
Yeah, definitely more user-friendly.
And because we did this, we have also this RTXDI test project that we shipped usually with NvRTX. So because we have now those additional features or improvements, we try to refactor the project to leverage those and explain to people how they're used in this project. So the project, just to give an idea about it, it's a very lightweight project. It's meant to just show the different features of RTXDI. It's not really meant to have very fancy content or complicated content. The whole project is less than 8 megabytes, I think. And most of the content is very basic, primitive shapes and procedural content. Again, the goal is just to show the scalability and the quality of lighting that you get with RTXDI and NvRTX.
This project is great. It's so lightweight and gives you several different level examples. So really cool stuff.
Yeah. So this is the default level that you will get when you load the project. It's basically just showing like the scalability and the quality of direct lighting with RTXDI. So here I think we have a couple of hundreds of lights. If we click the blueprint, we see we have 250 lights in this level. Of course, we can change this number to try like how RTXDI works with different number of lights. So we can have 10 or we can have 500 and see how like performance and quality of shadow of direct shadows looks like. I'll get it back to the default. And if I run the game, the first thing you will notice that we have a frame rate that shows you the performance with RTXDI versus without RTXDI. So obviously with RTXDI on, we get decent frame rate, like around 115. And here we are looking at the raw frame rate. There is no frame generation or multi-frame generation. This is the basic frame rate. If I disabled RTXDI, just to get a sense of the scalability that RTXDI gives when it's enabled in the project, we see like we get less than 50 or 45 frames per second, which is almost half of the frame rate. And this is with only 250 lights. In that sense, like a lot of people might think it's very similar to megalights, and that's correct, because also megalights tend to solve the scalability problem of many number of lights. But like if you look at RTXDI, like there is additional things like we will go to and explain it that might not be currently available with megalights.
Right, additional features. Yeah. I mean, RTXDI. That's sort of the key thing, right? Is that it goes further in terms of the feature set.
Exactly. And I think this is a very common question that a lot of people might ask these days with 5.5 and 5.6. So because megalights is there, I know it's still experimental and there is a lot of limitations, but the promise is to solve, I think, similar problems. So that's why it's always nice to show the differences and the advantages of RTXDI or the new features we have.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, I it's interesting how hardware ray tracing is solving something that was traditionally difficult to render in the past, right? The high count of shadow casting lights problem. Like, at what point do you scale them back or make them non-shadow casting, that sort of thing. Now people have access to two different solutions for how they deal with very high scale lights.
Yeah. Other thing also this level shows also the impact of camera animation or light animation in both performance and quality. So like for example, ghosting is a very common issue with sample-based lighting techniques or any temporal rendering techniques. So you can see, we can verify that with camera animation and see like how the DLSS or our denoiser is doing very great job of giving clean results without, even with the slow camera animation, without any ghosting, without any issues. And you can, of course, even test this with animating the lights themselves. So if I click this one, you see now different speeds of animations for each and individual lights. You see like there is, I'm not sure if it's going to, if this is showing very good on the stream, but for me, when I'm looking at it here on my screen, it's very clean and there's no ghosting at all. Yeah, so just want to mention or comment something about the performance is when we have the light animations, because we have a lot of individual point lights that are animated with their emissive spheres, like we see like there is a drop to the frame rate. Without it, like we're getting more than 100 to 115 FPS.
Right.
With light animation, we get this dip. And I think I mentioned this in previous talks, but this is mainly due to CPU, like the game thread to be specific, because the game thread is saturated, it's single threaded. It's not related to the GPU, it's not related to RTXDI. So that's a different thing. Yeah.
You mean you didn't make all those lights Niagara-based lights and
no,
that's the GPU?
Yeah, that's a good segue to the next level that I would like to show. So let me stop this one.
You built a blueprint here, right? And it's generating lights according to some blueprint functionality and then manually moving each one, basically.
Yeah, exactly. That's how. If you again, those are all blueprints. So
Right.
if you download the project, you can open the blueprint and look how like it's built. So yeah, this is the tick function where it's taking care of animating all the individual lights and animating their.
But that's a good point, and it is something for people to be aware of if you have ambitions to do high light counts that are also animated light counts, like physically animated, translating through the world. You might hit CPU limitations unless you make it a Niagara structure.
Yeah, there is many, I think, options to handle like the animation overhead. As you mentioned, one of them is using Niagara lights instead of regular light actors. But yeah, there is different options. Like I'm not going to go through the details. We have, I think, different project that explain this, and probably we already talked about it in previous presentations. But yeah, again, like as you mentioned, the blueprint is there. Anyone can take a look and see how it's built if you want to get an idea on how to scatter a lot of lights in similar scenes.
The amusement park for which you did a lot of optimization for stands as a good example for
that's
tackle
a good,
some of those problems.
Yeah, I think that project is very good because it shows how those blueprints are used in more practical use case where you have real content and a lot of specific tweaks that we want to do it. But yeah, like since you mentioned Niagara lights, that's the next scene I would like to show. So if you open this one, it will show a very similar scene to the previous one. It has the same level, but instead of having regular point lights, now we have particles with Niagara lights attached to each one of those particles. And here we are seeing with RTXDI enabled, so that's why we see like all the nice shadows interaction from those animated particles around the Niagara lights. But if we want to see how this looks from vanilla Unreal without any of our RTXDI improvements, this is how it looks.
Right.
And yeah, that's the expectation from a lighting system that is designed to be scalable with many number of particles in the scene. So they try to strip down any of those expensive calculations like direct shadows or contributing to global illumination or lumen scene or all kinds of things. With RTXDI, like we extended all these through sampled lighting. So you have the nice, accurate ray traced direct shadows from the Niagara lights. Those lights can have now source radius, so you can have soft shadows, you can have sharp shadows, you can have those particles can also contribute to Lumen GI. So they behave more now like regular point light actors, which is I think really nice for scenes or games that use a lot of Niagara particle lights. Another scene
I love this example. It looks great.
Yeah, I like it.
It demonstrates the feature really well. Some of the potential that opens up with Niagara lights.
Yeah. Also, still talking about Niagaras, we have this scene that shows again Niagara lights, but it's more with when we applied physics to them. So here we have gravity, we have collisions with the environment. And you see like how each one of those Niagara lights, they catch nice shadows, soft shadows around the cubes and the ground.
Right.
Really, really nice. This is without.
Right. It's going to look very flat. Yeah, the shadows just aren't possible without RTXDI doing that work here.
Yeah, so a very flat scene. Okay, another scene also. This one is interesting. It's resembling a very an open city scene where we also would like to show how RTXDI works in such environments. So here you have like directional light, which is representing the sun, and of course we can play with this day-night slider to see how like the directional light shadows work with RTXDI. And the cool thing, if you go more in night, you see like the sun goes away and it got replaced with individual point lights. Here we have I think also a couple of hundreds of lights of point lights.
You have a grid of shadow casting lights basically.
Yeah, they're all ray traced shadow casting lights, and we see like this we still have a solid performance.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just to show, like, because the previous scenes, like, they are nice, but they are more theoretical scene or abstract scenes. Like, would like to show how RTXDI works with more grounded scene, where usually you might be a city or something like this.
Yeah, that is a great example of you switch from one light to hundreds, and it makes basically no difference on your performance.
Yeah. Now, those are like the main scenes that shows the quality and the scalability of RTXDI. We have additional scenes that shows specific features. So one of those specific features is the transparent shadows with RTXDI. So if we look at this scene, we have a simple grid with animated texture that is semi-transparent. And we have a spotlight that is casting basically light rays. And we see like we're getting these nice colored shadows that are also animated and physically accurate, like representing the material here.
Right. It's whatever your material is, however you animate it and so on. Yeah,
exactly. So it's really, I think it's a small feature, but still very nice. And it wasn't really possible without RTXDI. So of course, if we disable it, like this is what we get.
Okay. I was wondering if you turned it off, were we going to get no shadow or just a solid shadow? Because you could have, I think you probably could have gone either way, or maybe.
Yeah, I think if you want to
those
play
are your two
or tweak,
options, right?
yeah,
Either
you can.
no shadow or black.
Yeah, yeah, but you definitely won't be getting this. I think
Right.
if you enable static lighting and you bake light maps for the scene, you might get some colored shadows out of this, but it's going to be, of course, static because this is baked light maps. So
Right.
there is no way you can get animated transparent shadows like this one.
Yeah.
And talking about this feature, just to explain, like this need to be turned on specifically from also the rendering settings. So we have a specific checkbox for it, which is this one, transparent shadows RTXDI. I have it already on. Okay, so another also nice small features with RTXDI is doing image-based lighting in Unreal. So this might not be very popular for games, but all other applications like visualization or
No, I have to say this is very forward looking. I think, I mean, it's maybe like I think you're completely right. Not popular with games today, but that could easily change within a couple of years. So
correct.
It's good for this to be looked at now.
Yeah. So here, like in this test scene, we are using the HDRI backdrop plugin. This is a plugin from Epic that allows you to get an HDRI image and project it into your scene.
That was a plugin that you helped work on at Epic.
Yeah, I contributed to the development of this plugin when I was working at Epic. Well, it was a cool project.
Yeah, no, it's a great plugin.
Yeah, and again, like unfortunately, it's not very popular with games, but I think all other enterprise applications they really like it and use it a lot.
Yeah.
So this is what we get when you use it in by default from vanilla Unreal. Like we get a skylight, we get a bit of contribution and whatnot. But if you have a sun in your image or any strong light source, you won't be getting any accurate or direct lighting from it. The way people tend to solve this is they superimpose directional light for a sun or a spotlight or whatever, like light actor that represents this very strong hotspot, which is a very manual thing, and it definitely won't be very accurate because you are doing eyeballing or approximation yourself. This is completely solved with RTXDI. So if I run the game here, you see now by default when RTXDI is on, it evaluates the sky. So it goes and check the pixels for your HDR image and automatically detect, okay, this is a hot spot. So it's going to sample it and cast direct shadows out of it into your scene. So this is what we get with RTXDI on, and this is without it, the default.
Yeah.
It's visually very big difference.
Yeah, this is how we should do all direct lighting in the future. I mean, coming out, I mean, somebody can do it right now if you want to be extremely forward looking. I mean, it basically works. It's not, probably not as refined as it can be, but it's showing incredible promise in what it can do right now.
No, I think the results very cool and like sharp and accurate. And of course, if it doesn't really impact the performance that much.
Right.
And it's so fully dynamic. So you see, like we have a couple of cylinders that are animated, and their shadows are moving correctly with them. And if I rotate the image, the background image, you see like all the shadows get updated accordingly.
Yeah.
So yeah, very
It's
neat
very
feature.
cool.
Small feature, but very interesting. So we have this interesting also level. This is showing different aspects of RTXDI, which is now not direct lighting, but it's more on lumen and indirect lighting. So let me run the scene here. So with lumen, we have this technique called the ReSTIR GI, which improves the quality and the performance of indirect lighting of lumen, including the contribution of emissive materials into direct lighting. So here, in this sample scene, we have two sections. Like on the right, we have standard point light. It has, of course, this point light has a certain radius. We see like we are getting soft shadows out of this point light, and
Right.
in addition to the shading. But on the left, we try to mirror this setup with emissive only. So here we don't have any parametric lights or any point lights or anything, only emissive sphere. And we see how like we get almost very close, very accurate shadows and soft shadows and everything with ReSTIR GI on. Lumen gives you like similar results, but if we are disabled, you can see it's not as accurate as ReSTIR GI. Like the shadows are a bit less detailed, and even the highlight here is a bit different from the ground truth.
Yeah.
So that's one of the interesting feature, like I would say, side effects of having ReSTIR GI added to Lumen. So if you have a scene that depends on a lot of emissive meshes, you can end with some nice direct lighting out of those without having to add additional parametric lights or point lights to the scene.
Yeah. One detail I love about that is when you turn on ReSTIR GI, it picks up the emissive surface of the text in the foreground.
Yeah, correct.
Because it's an object, it's a surface there in 3D space, and so yeah, Lumen doesn't. I mean, I think if screen space GI is on, it'll see it, but then you got the screen space artifacts that go with that.
Yeah.
Hardware ray tracing Lumen just by default doesn't have the resolution to see something so fine, but yeah, ReSTIR, while not being per pixel, it starts to get more in the ballpark of per pixel. So it it's able to pick up that text and generate light from even that emissive surface there. So it's just kind of a cool little added touch.
Right? And by the way, here we're looking at the standard, the default settings of ReSTIR GI, like which most of those are balanced for performance. So of course, like if you want to tweak, increase the number of samples and tweak other parameters, you can, and even with better or higher quality results with ReSTIR GI. The last scene that we have in this project, probably it's not really a practical scene. We use it mainly for our internal development when we want to test updates to the algorithm.
When you're looking at path tracing, everybody's got to have a Cornell box.
Exactly. So yeah, we have this one. Again, like we use it mainly for us internally to evaluate different things in terms of quality and other things. But yeah, it's available in the test project.
I had a question on the new blueprint functionality.
Yeah, sure.
If you can go to that. I believe I noticed in the list of RTXDI plugin scripts. So we have a direct lighting one, and there's also an indirect lighting one. Okay, I wasn't 100% sure if we were able to control both.
Yeah, you can control both individually if you want to have, like, for any reason, like in different scenes, have direct lighting on while indirect lighting with Lumen is off, or vice versa. Yeah, you can have this granular control. And on top of that, also with the indirect lighting, you can define the different path tracing modes. So by default, like we use ReSTIR GI when you have the indirect lighting mode. But if you want to go even further with the quality, with the fidelity of the indirect lighting, you can enable the path tracing mode.
Oh, okay. So does that mean that in order to do full path tracing, somebody would need to set the enable RTXDI indirect lighting blueprint script first. They would do that one first. And
Yeah,
then
this need to be on. If
right,
it's
so that
off,
gives you,
like,
but with it off, you'd just be using probably Lumen. Turning it
yeah,
on, you would be enhancing Lumen with ReSTIR GI, basically.
Correct, that's accurate. Yeah, and
right.
then if you want to go, instead of using ReSTIR GI, you want to use ReSTIR PT, you enable this one.
Right, cool. Okay, very cool.
Yeah, and of course, like if anyone have any feedback or suggestion about adding new or exposing new functionalities or nodes other in Blueprint or post-process, yeah, please let us know. I'll be happy to look into that and improve the features, the tools.
Cool. Yeah, and our target, correct me if I'm wrong, is to have these updates out in NvRTX 5.6.
Correct, yeah. Including also the test project with all the new updates to the scenes and the additional new scenes we included.
Okay, great. Anything you want to add before,
No, I think that's most of it. Again, like, thank you, Richard, first for inviting me to this webinar today, and like to thank everyone watching it, and hopefully like you find something interesting or useful for your projects with it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So now I have Jay from Jay's Films here to just talk about various things. We were both at Unreal Fest, and he's got the Paris scene but rebuilt for NvRTX that he can run on his 5090. So I don't have a 5090, but he's got one. So yeah, we can take a look at that. But how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good, man. Glad to be back. It's go time. Time to do some more tests in Unreal. Put this 5090 to the test and put it to work.
Your YouTube channel, I mean, it's definitely grown in popularity, and you focus on like everything Unreal, right? Like art stuff, animation stuff, just rendering technology, various things. Does that describe the channel well, or would you?
Yeah. I would say, yeah. It started with Unreal Engine 4, and now moving on to MetaHuman's animation.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of Unreal Engine 5 in mainstream now being used for animation, so that's definitely exciting.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's mainly what I do: make tutorials, make shorts, and game stuff.
Is anybody really using Unreal 4 for much of anything anymore? I mean, do you see like it pop up?
Yeah, I think some people are still.
Okay.
I see some on social media, mainly working with the mobile industry games.
Sure.
I guess they still like that backlighting type of deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, majority of my viewers have moved on to Unreal Engine 5 because the stuff that's coming out right now are just incredible.
Yeah, that makes sense. Unreal 4, like if you're using 4.2.7, it's probably ultra stable for
it's solid
mobile development. Yeah, that tracks. Okay, yeah, I just don't see much of it from my perspective, so it's good to hear. Anyway, I've got some. Like I said, we were both at Unreal Fest, so yeah, let me pull up this video. I have sort of B-roll from Unreal Fest. I just wanted to show people what it was like being there. This is the one in Orlando. Yeah, we were both just there hanging out. Pretty cool. I'm gonna pause this for a moment because this was my seat for the big show. I showed up a little bit late that morning, and so I kind of got the nosebleeds, like back off into the corner somewhere. But this was a really neat stage that they had set up, right? And you got someplace really good, didn't you?
I would say I was just in the middle, so yeah, okay. I got kind of lucky. I was like behind CDPR.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It just happened like right in front of me, so we were like right in the middle. Probably had the best seat of the house. I didn't say anything, just didn't complain. But yeah, It's a pretty cool stage. There's a lot of visual lights in there. It's pretty fancy.
Yeah, these ceiling lights up here would like
go up and
move, right? They'd go up and down depending on like whatever's on the screen. Or I guess they could program them however they want. But yeah, it was pretty wild stuff. It was a great presentation. It's a great way to see The Witcher for the first time.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, dude, that's the best place to watch that trailer. People ask me about my reaction. I was like, yo, I watched it right.
I wonder, I haven't looked at the online videos, but just so people know, when they first showed this, they put it on the center screen and then built it out, like faded in
it
to
expanded.
the panels. You're right.
Right,
And you had
right,
this
right.
ultra wide display of the
Yeah.
environment.
It's
really
so funny
something.
because some people were like messaging me when this is watching, and they're like, "I bet your jaw's on the floor right now." Because yeah, it was pretty cool. Definitely one of the highlights.
Yeah, and then so I just like have random footage here. This is just a collection of stuff. But you were telling me that this is like a there was nobody around when I was looking at it, so I didn't know what to do with it. But it was interactive. And then yeah, here's some
Yeah.
metahuman stuff.
Yeah.
Guy in the box.
This is really cool tech too. I've seen them do a lot of these now in like studios, which is cool. And eventually, I'm pretty sure we can plug this in with AI chat and like actually talk to it.
That's
end game.
Sort of the next step. It does get really surreal. Like at certain angles, it almost looks like a real person. So
yeah. Now this right here is Vive Morris's virtual production demo. They have this guy on an accent suit, and it was just like dancing 24/7. Like it made me tired. They were showing some pretty cool tech here with their virtual camera, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. We have HP was showing off some fairly high-end hardware. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
they got some pretty good. I know a couple of people in the virtual production world. They swear by HP, man. Their machines are just HP.
Yeah, I was fascinated by this device. Yeah, I know. So I'm gonna pause that for a second.
Yeah.
This is it's a surface scanner. So you have your whatever material surface you want, and you put it on this tray, and like he's like weighted it down with like magnets or something, and yeah, you stick that in the scanning bed, and it'll do your diffuse specular normal generation. It's got it's shaped this way because it's got an array of lights in it,
right?
And so it'll like get the different angles and so forth, and then
that's cool.
Yeah, generate the materials. Bring them in for scanning. I think here in the edit, in a minute, there's a few other materials like that they had on the table that you could put in there. I just talked to the guy briefly, but yeah, so like I'll pause it here for a second.
HP made that? That's
yeah.
Wow.
I had no idea about this hardware either. Like
no, that's HP making that. That's really crazy. Like why are they making this? That's pretty nuts.
Right.
No, I did not see this.
I didn't ask why. That is an interesting question though. Yeah, and then this was just they're coordinating with Adobe on the software side, I think. So
oh, they probably built that for Substance Painter then. That makes sense if they did it with Adobe. Right. They're scanning materials and textures for them. Okay,
yeah. A lot of animation stuff on the show floor. People were showing off like lots of demos related to metahumans or digital people or whatever. Here's some I think some ACE metahuman stuff that we didn't have like so much an NVIDIA booth, but we were like partnering with different people. So like here we're coordinating with Lenovo, I think, to show some things and stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see how far ACE is. Like before we talked about ACE, but now it's like people are using it now. It's just super freaking cool.
I'm going to pause that for a second. Electric adventure vehicles driven by Unreal. I think the Unreal part is the display unit inside the car has got like the 3D display or whatever.
Yeah, like the render.
Yeah, exactly. This is something about showing the car in real time on the display. Now this is what the session stuff was like. If you haven't been to Unreal Fest before, they're just little rooms, little breakout rooms. Oh, and I'm going to go back to that. I wish my footage here was better, but this is something that they were talking about a lot. This is I forget his name. He's a guy that works at Epic, and he's just talking about how starting in 5.6 and going forward, Epic is very focused on open world improvements, faster streaming, faster level loading, big spaces. A lot of this is driven by The Witcher, which they've they've clearly partnered with to like really build out what you can do with open world stuff. But it's they're I guess you could say they're really going heavily into this area because they want giant simulated worlds. As 4 square kilometers of space is not big enough anymore. We're talking 27 kilometers of square space. It needs to be highly detailed and extremely realistic, and that true sort of next gen type thing. So they seem to be very focused in that area.
They're actually trying to make an open world, like an open world.
Right. But yeah, like right here at the end, this is kind of fascinating to me because I'm going to pause that for a second. They have a new terrain system coming. It's not there yet. It's not in 5.6. I don't know if it's in 5.7 main. I know you're paying close attention to like, any code drops that they're doing, but they've done this before because it used if you go back to Unreal 3, there was the terrain system, and then it became landscape as a totally different terrain system, and now it looks like they're redoing it again, and they're going to have this new landscape system, which is completely 3D sculptable, so almost like voxels, so like you can have landscape hanging over landscape, and you can shape it however you want.
Crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if they have a name for it yet, but they were saying, hey, it's coming, be aware. Yeah, big changes on the horizon, basically. And again, this is really driven by the Witcher development, because I think they want to take advantage of whatever's being made here. This was another session, really cool stuff. This is their new water simulation code. Also, and this is footage from The Witcher, so I'll just go back on that again, so you can see. But yeah, they're doing a lot with like particle simulation and completely dynamic water physics. This is all driven by chaos, right? So it kind of shows that like chaos physics is maturing. This guy, he works for Epic. He's a white water rafter, and so he was talking about how he took this new water code that they're writing and he made this demo. He did it himself, and he had this on the show floor for people to play around in. It's pretty neat. He's a great guy. But yeah, it's a really neat tech demo of like, and that's completely physics driven, right? His gameplay here, his gameplay design doesn't have any like, there's no gameplay code associated with it. He's just letting physics take over, and yeah, all your gameplay is derived from that. Yeah. So yeah, what do you think about Unreal Fest overall?
It was pretty good, man. I mean, honestly, for me, it was the best time to go because they had a lot of metahuman stuff, and probably the coolest part is just seeing some of my subscribers there. Like that's probably one of the biggest things, getting to meet some of them in person. So that was definitely
you were a popular guy.
No, not really.
No, you were.
Yeah, it's just cool, man. Like getting to see them, like, hey, hearing their stories. A lot of them are instructors. They have students. They brought their students. Their students are fans. It's like, this is cool. This is why I switched the channel to Unreal Engine all these years. So it was pretty cool to finally see the fruit of the things that I'm doing, because so that was
normally, I mean, you have a YouTube channel, so like how much like direct contact do you have with a lot of people, right? It's just posted comments and
right
maybe Discord or whatever, but like
but hearing them, like seeing the next generation learning all this stuff that I'm putting out is really cool.
Yeah, so there's a new scene is kind of structurally similar in certain ways to the city sample. It's not the city sample, but it's this it's called the Paris scene, and it's floating around out there. I think you've had it on your channel, like you've shown it. I took the scene and converted it to NvRTX and added DLSS 4 and path tracing to it. And I wanted to toss it over to you because, like I said, you've got the cool hardware. Is yours a 5090 FE?
Yeah, it's a Founders Edition.
That's amazing.
Let me see.
I'm so jealous.
Screen. Yeah, man, it took a lot, but it's worth it. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you got the scene. This is the Paris scene, rebuilt for NvRTX, loaded up on your 5090.
Yep.
So okay, so that's cool. I haven't, aside from just like a little bit of testing beforehand, I hadn't seen it running this fast before. So that's neat. So yeah, you can see at the top of the screen there, just a little bit of sort of debug UI was added to this. ReSTIR PT is currently on, so ReSTIR path tracing. DLSS 4 is active, and that's the full DLSS 4, right? So super resolution's on, ray reconstruction is on, frame gen 4 times mode so is on. And then the current screen percentage at this point, you're at 50%, but you're running on a 4K display.
Yeah.
Or did you reduce it down to 1080?
Yeah, 1080.
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you're dealing with a very low input resolution at the moment.
Right.
And then on the far right in the green, you can see the current frame rate, and that's the frame gen frame rate, right?
Right.
So actually, what you like running this in 100% like DLAA resolution? You can change that if you want. You don't have to keep it at 50%.
Yep.
I mean, you lose 100 frames a second, but I'm sure it's probably looks a lot nicer.
Yeah, it's 237. That's pretty crispy.
I mean, lots of frame rate there. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, let's take a look around.
That shot right there looks realistic. That's crazy.
The lighting here is very subtle. I like the way what I really like when it can be achieved, whether with path tracing or not, just whatever, is when you get that sort of it's like skylight dripping down the side of a wall, like at the top, where it's subtly brighter at the top, and then as the further down you go, the sort of dimmer the lighting gets.
Yeah. I mean, this right here could pass for realistic photo.
It could,
if you just show it to somebody. Yeah. All right, let's move.
But cool, yeah. Let's explore around.
But yeah, this is also a ray reconstruction, so this is like the real deal. Reflections. This is one of my favorite areas here, man. Actually got my favorite spot right here. Kind of tucked in, got nice interior.
Yeah, it's very cozy.
Yeah. I'm gonna flip some switches here. I'll swap it to find a good framing here, and I'll swap it to Lumen.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Wow, that got a lot. Really, Lumen, what's going on there with the... Oh, it calmed down.
This is TSR, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Flipping some switches. I know there's a little bit of delay, so I'm going to try to do it slow. Yeah, that's pretty insane.
Yeah, you'll see. I mean, yeah, of course, hardware Lumen's not bad, but ReSTIR path tracing, the scene is set to do 3 path trace bounces, where I think hardware, I'm not sure, hardware Lumen, you have to specify like the number of ray trace bounces. I think the default for anything is 1 to 2. Yeah, I don't think you can customize the GI bounces, but I could be wrong about that. There's a lot of CVARs for Lumen, so the control might be there. But you'll notice ReSTIR PT tends to pick up like the sky reflection a lot more, and your reflections are more complete. You get 3, if you set it to 3 bounces, which is like it is in this case, then you're doing 3 bounces of reflections and 3 bounces of GI.
And you said you're using a CVAR for that for ReSTIR, right? That's what you just said.
It's in the post-process volume.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
This looks really good.
Yeah, it like starts to approach photorealism.
I mean, the thing that's crazy about ray reconstruction to me is how it's handling patterns now. Because this pattern right here on that chair, that's very difficult.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, there are a lot of challenges, especially with, lower input resolutions with high contrast pixels. You put a
Yeah.
black pixel right next to a white pixel, and
Right.
you don't give it a lot of screen resolution, and then
That's
try to sample that, try to denoise that. Like,
Yeah.
forget it, right? It turns out looking very like a moire or something like that.
right, exactly. And that is handling that. And I
Yeah.
just noticed that because I didn't even, dude, that is handling it like a champ.
Right. Right.
Because before, I mean, I tried, real-time path tracing when the Cyberpunk first came out, and just the difference now is massive. I mean, how long ago was that? A year and a half, 2 years ago?
Yeah, maybe, right. It would have been a year to a year and a half ago.
It's crazy. It's
yeah.
advancing so quickly.
Yeah, you can turn off DLSS 4 and look at those, like those seat patterns under TSR.
Yeah.
And that's
it's kind of like a blur.
Right.
I mean, it's probably going to be hard for them to see it, but yeah, I mean, look at that compared to this. You can definitely tell the difference there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, TSR. This is TSR, right?
Right.
And this is like DLSS 4, so your ray reconstruction.
Right. Yeah, that's the ray reconstruction here is the key bit, right? Because I mean, to be completely fair to old Cyberpunk, they didn't have TSR, right? It's a different engine,
right?
But they still had some type of
anti-aliasing,
spatiotemporal anti-aliasing method, and they were using our software denoiser at the time, which is NRD,
right?
And it would have these same issues. A lot of your software denoisers are going to have those kinds of issues. But yeah, like even in the jar there, you're looking at a fully like a 3-bounce path traced reflection.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's picking up all those fine details.
And we'll switch it over to hardware Lumen TSR. So this is, I mean, everybody's kind of seen this if you use Unreal. That's what kind of we're dealing with, which doesn't look bad. Don't get me wrong. It's still reflecting.
Right.
It's still reflecting your scene as accurately as it can.
Yeah.
But the difference whenever you're talking about, I mean, it's crazy. It's kind of like looking through. It's real mirror to me. Yeah. It almost looks like it's projected twice. Like there's a camera right here that's just projecting the data onto that jar. That's how clear it is and how crisp it is, man. It just pops up. It pops out at you. It's crazy.
It's a big part of what real-time path tracing is about. The first thing that was solved was global illumination, and that's I think that's being handled really well.
Yeah,
like it's very solid. It's very stable.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It's also affecting the GI and the reflections, right, Rich?
Yes, that's one of the key features of a path traced reflection is you get all of your direct and indirect lighting in that reflection. So
crazy.
Yeah, if under ideal circumstances, if you put a mirror there, like just a completely flat mirror, and you made you gave that mirror color, so it just reflects the environment completely without any tint to the material or anything.
Right.
It should look exactly like your direct rendering.
That's crazy.
Yeah, which is something we haven't had before. So I mean, because a lumen reflection, it approximates some of those elements, or certain things don't reflect,
actually
it's not designed to like pick up every little detail like ReSTIR is, right? It's a different thing.
Yeah, and again, I mentioned that because if you look at the jar, I know we're focusing a lot on this jar, but if you look at the jar, the ceiling, right? If I swap this, you actually see the entire ceiling of this this cafe, because it's getting those bounces in, and it's making the scene brighter like you would in real life. That's impressive. And again, we're running this at 220 frames per second, so it's not really taking any. It's not gathering data that slow. It's just boom, it's right there. Okay, that's what you want. That's what you get right now, which is crazy to me. Yeah, this looks photorealistic. If you've ever been, honestly, actually, when I posted this video, like my first initial impression, I had a lot of Parisians, locals in Paris, and they're like, that looks really close to what that area looks like.
Yeah.
Even if the locals vouch for it, it's like, that's legit. Now it is not. It's not 1-to-1, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
this
area
go
is
straight to it.
Yeah, this area is really, really interesting because there are no actor lights. This is pure emissive lighting only. Now, I'll be the first to say a couple of things about that. One is, although we're making like really good improvements in that direction, I would not recommend that you go and light your scenes entirely with emissives unless you're willing to, like, up your sample counts and stuff, and to attempt to stabilize it. But it's not like really suitable for real time yet. The other thing is that, I mean, you'll notice some instability in the scene, but like I said, this is a real stress test of what ReSTIR is currently capable of doing with like emissive only lighting, like no actor lights.
Yeah.
If you switch this to hardware Lumen and look down here.
TSR hardware Lumen.
Yeah. You can see what that looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, you can fix that to a point, right? Like with hardware Lumen, you can crank the values up. You can increase your detail resolution. You can, it'll make Lumen slower, but you have those options, right, to try to improve some of that noise.
Yeah, and there's absolutely no lights down here. Like
no lights.
I opened this in editor. It's just emissive lighting down there, and that is, yeah, like you said, this is extreme scenarios here, and it's handling it really nicely on these tiles. And did you know these are? Oh, you mentioned the tiles are actual geometry also. They're not just like textures too.
That's what I noticed that they were sculpted out, not just because like this is all nanite
normals.
Stuff.
Right. Yeah. That's crazy, man.
I would have liked to put Mega Geo on this, but we don't
Maybe
have
next time.
Yeah, this is built in NvRTX 5.5, so we only have Mega Geo in the 5.4 test branch right now.
Right. And again, we can talk about this sign here that you showed me, because this is pretty incredible here too.
Yeah, look at that.
So so this is just emissive from that material coming out of that ceiling light there.
Right.
But it's actually casting shadows. So if I switch it to like hardware Lumen,
right,
it looks like that. That looks crazy.
Right. It looks like somebody placed a rec light up there.
Right, exactly, but not the performance of one.
And that little subtle drop shadow, because we're doing a lot of per pixel sampling with ReSTIR, holds up pretty well at a distance. Like if you walk backwards from that point and look at the green sign,
and then turn it
on it. Yeah. So you can still see the drop shadow even at a short range. But if you step back, it should still be there pretty effectively.
Yeah. It doesn't fade out until and I like that it gradually goes away. It just doesn't pop out like an actual light in there. It almost acts like an actual rec light up there.
Yeah.
It's
very
freaking crazy.
I mean, I got to point it out a million times because everybody's going to see this and go, oh my God, I can light my scenes with just materials. We are so close to that. I'm like truly, like literally excited about that possibility, because I want it to be real, and we have that option. But more work needs to be done to make emissive lighting like as robust as actor lights. If you want a good reason, if you want a great reason actually why you should still be using actor lights, emissives don't respect fog. So if you wanted to do any volumetric fog effects, you still need actor lights. There you go. But you can do a lot with just emissives, and it's pretty cool. And sometimes you get like little happy accidents from just an emissive surface in the scene that's like casting shadows. There's a little bistro back here, which I thought was pretty cool.
And it's crazy because I'm actually converting this into Fortnite map, it looks crazy.
Right.
Oh man, I got rid of a lot of stuff. Oh, this is nice. Are you talking about right this corner?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you go into that building, it's got two entrances, so either side.
Oh, okay. So you don't even have to fly to Paris. Just
Yeah, just go there virtually.
walk
You're
around.
fine.
Oh yeah, this is cute.
Yeah.
Little cafe.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I did do some. I didn't leave it
Film,
completely
maybe?
alone. I did a little bit of like light actor editing in the scene.
Yeah.
Like I added. We talked about this before. Like the scene, like this location originally would have like one light actor like floating in the air or something like that.
Oh, right in the
And
middle, just to give it some bounce. Yeah,
give
yeah.
it some bounce,
Ambience.
right? And with path trace lighting, you can kind of throw in as many light actors as you want, very similar to megalights. So
Right.
so like like more lights were added in, like at the lamp location. There's like 3 lights like right there clustered together, and they there's a light actor in each one of those
So
lamp locations.
you just put kind of like put a point light in each one of these?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
I gave them big radiuses because it doesn't really matter. Like they got giant radiuses on them.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, no, just little revisions like that, like not a dramatic change to what was in the level.
Yeah, because it wouldn't make sense if you just have floating point light. I see it a lot just to kind of give that area a boost, but it wouldn't make sense if you're trying to go for accuracy, So
yeah, I'm sure the scene. I don't know when it was made originally, but it was probably made before. I mean, it wasn't made with ReSTIR in mind, and it wasn't.
No, for sure.
It was probably made before Megalights was, a mainline release. So
right.
They probably weren't thinking about that when they were building it.
Yeah, this is.
But now we have that. Yeah, we have that capability now to just kind of go totally crazy with lights. Oh, and if you go to your if you hit escape and go to your menu,
yeah,
and change the scenario to sunset.
Sunset.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at that dynamic lighting change.
Nice.
And you look up, if you look up at the ceiling,
yeah,
there is some emissive like panels there that are generating a lot of light coming in through the windows.
Oh, okay. So this right here, the window is actually an emissive panel from
there's no light actor up there. It's just
cool.
Emissive. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure there's enough area of that surface that Lumen will probably pick it up really well. Would be
this is Lumen ReSTIR.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see it loses a little bit of resolution, but it's
a little bit noisy too on my end. It's a little bit noisy on my end. Yeah.
Okay.
Whenever you swap to like Lumen, it is a little bit noisy.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's gonna get picked up, but yeah, definitely. This is nice. And again, we're talking about patterns here, man. Ray reconstruction just kills it. I'm trying to be rough. I'm just like trying to move it around as fast as I can. Like, dude, it's killing it. It's
if you really want to test it. Okay, so you're at 1080p full resolution right now.
Yeah.
So change it to say quality mode, 720p input res.
Let's see here. 67?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So now we're looking at the same scene with 720p input on a 1080p output.
Yeah, it's still doing a pretty good job. I'm getting like almost 400 FPS.
I'm sure at some point you're going to start to see moire patterns and some artifacting. Like there are just limits to the technology at some point. But
wait, this is quality right now? 67, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So
this looks pretty good. I mean, this is great.
Yeah.
Almost hitting 400 FPS, man.
It's a little excessive, right?
Yeah.
See, you've got a 5090, so you can run this at and you got a 4K display, so you can run this full resolution on a 4K. You don't need to do all this downsampling.
Yeah, but this is more for like your general PC owner. It's kind of nice,
right? It would scale down well onto
right
5070 or something like that.
Exactly.
4070. I do have that. By the way, I mean, I'll switch to that one. Well, I'll start by showing the box. Let's do that.
Okay. You want me to exit out of this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Let me see.
So, For testing purposes, I'm not trying to sell anybody hardware. I swear to God, this is not. I work in software at NVIDIA. Okay, we develop software. Our software runs on all modern GPUs, like except for DLSS, which is specific to NVIDIA hardware. Generally speaking, path tracing, all this stuff, all the ray tracing optimizations we're doing runs anywhere, any modern GPU, because all GPUs today, do hardware ray tracing. They all do.
Pretty much.
So I picked up this. It's a 5060 Ti. Let's see, 16 gigabyte model. I was fascinated by this because it's a $500 graphics card, and it was like the weakest one. I say weakest. I'm probably insulting the manufacturer. I don't mean to do that, but just in the sense that it's got. I mean, with
benchmarking, so yeah,
it's a tiny card. It's the smallest, cutest little card you ever saw,
and it's a personal card. It's his.
Yeah. I went to Micro Center and picked one up. It was literally $500, and I wanted to see how it would do with all this fancy technology. Because I mean, I've seen benchmarks and I've seen people run it online and stuff like that, but I haven't actually tried it for myself. So
yeah, you're like me. I don't want to look at graphs. Let me turn it on and turn up the heat.
The experience is important. Right? How does it feel? What's that like? What's the practicality of using it? Anyway, so this is the same scene that you were just running, but on a 5060 Ti, and you can see the frame rate in the top right. This is on a 1440 display, so I'm currently using DLSS 4 at 720p, 50% input resolution, basically performance mode. And here I'm switching a little bit between hardware Lumen and ReSTIR PT, so we can see what that looks like. And you can see on this hardware at this level, like hardware Lumen, 130 frames per second, a certain frame rate. ReSTIR PT, like 120 frames a second. So it's not a huge performance cost sometimes to switch from hardware Lumen to full path tracing. You can see it's roughly at this angle, looking in this environment, it's roughly the same 120 FPS. And this from a performance standpoint, I don't have the latency numbers up here, but from a performance standpoint, it felt fine. It didn't feel laggy to run around in it or anything like that. I would not want to try, full path tracing on a 5060 Ti at 1440p at 100% DLAA resolution. I wouldn't want to do that. There's just no way. That's not going to feel like it's going to feel. You'll feel the latency, but if you're willing to, lower resolution and let DLSS do its thing, then path tracing, that was basically my discovery, or what I learned by using this hardware was that path tracing is totally doable. Oh, and here I did some fast turning just to see, can I, make it look bad somehow? Is frame gen going to break or whatever, is it going to artifact in some way? This part back here, let me go back a bit. This part here, again, it was like you, I'm looking for parts where DLSS is going to trip up, because you look at this, there's like thin little spokes, right, of high contrast pixels, harsh shadows, all this fine, thin mesh detail, like all overlapping, and some like bright pixels against like dark gray pixels and stuff like that. And just looking around at it, and I was like, I can't see it failing anywhere. I don't know. I encourage you to when you get a chance to load up the scene again, go look at the bikes and see if you see any problems with it. But it was just it's fascinating to me that because in the old days, like, I don't know if you go back to like DLSS 2.
I tried DLSS.
You would have had a dozen problems with that area, but with DLSS 4 and ray reconstruction, we seem to have, you know, I think everybody at NVIDIA would hesitate to say that, oh, we've solved something. Or there's always a use case, right, where maybe it's not 100% solved, but for sure it's doing a lot better than it used to. Yeah, I wanted to. I
mean, this looks exactly just like mine. We just
right.
See the
that's what you just saw.
This is crazy, man. Like,
it's not as high as a frame rate, and you know, but it's but no, it's the same like detail levels.
No, absolutely. The GI is the same, reflections is the same. Like, and people ask me this all the time. Is like, hey man, do you not get mad? You're paying, you know, premium for your top GPU, and like the lower end cards have the same thing. I'm like, no, absolutely not. It's just the way it is. Because yeah, that looks pretty close to what we just saw.
Yeah,
I see those emissives. Okay, yeah, see it now outside.
The advantage to your card for sure.
This is FPS. Yeah, get a little FPS.
The advantage to your card for sure is that you're never going to have to put up with any probably any temporal effects or moiraying or any visual artifacts, because you can run at a high resolution at a high frame rate all the time, right?
Yeah, I'm crazy.
With this card, you do need to do a few things. Like I said, you probably
one DLAA.
You don't. Yeah, it's not going to be a DLAA plus path tracing card. It's going to be one or the other.
Yeah.
So that's the compromise. But you know, it's a $500 graphics card. So
overall, this looks great.
Just so everybody can see, these are the custom CVARs that were used in this project, and that's in the default engine INI. So right under the highlighted text where it says custom CVARs, those are just all the either path tracing, anything with R sample lighting is path tracing modification, and then anything with R ray tracing is just, you know, standard ray tracing code. And yeah, so those were the modifications used. And then on the right over here is the post-process volume settings. So you can see that for global illumination, Lumen, of course, is on, and it's set to hit lighting, which is the highest quality hit lighting. And then RTXDI indirect lighting is turned on. There were some tweaks done to sample lighting in the post-process volume. You'll notice things like the history length and self-intersection distance were modified from their defaults. A lot of these are just preferences, though. Like the history length has to do with how many frames are considered in the past. The default is 8. Ray reconstruction, like I said, often needs less temporal data, right? So you don't need a full 8 frames of previous history necessarily to make it look good. Sometimes actually even a shorter number will look better. So I set it down to 3. You don't want to set it to 0. 0 will cause artifacting, right? And in fact, it doesn't even work. Like the lowest number that's possible is 1. It has to consider at least 1 previous frame. But a shorter number, 2 to 4, might actually produce better visual results, especially with ray reconstruction. Tighten up some of any temporal artifacts that could occur. Self-intersection distance just fixes the shadow mismatch problem that currently happens with nanite. This is a nanite heavy scene. It's hardware ray tracing, and we don't have megageo in the scene yet, right? So we're using over here in the default engine INI, we're using the you see r.ray tracing nanite mode 1. So that's the screen trace correction. But yeah, our ray tracing nanite mode 1 is active along with the self-intersection distance 1. It's redundantly put into the CVARs. Some of my CVARs here admittedly are redundant, like where it says R sample lighting, avoid self-intersection distance 1 is really the same thing as what's in the post-process volume. So yeah, that just helps to correct any shadow acne that would happen from the nanite mismatch. And again, all that stuff's temporary, right? When we get MegaGeo working, you know, for everybody, where you won't have to set these CVARs anymore, right? You'll be ray tracing the full resolution geometry. But yeah, you can see also under direct illumination, initial local candidates was set to 1, the spatial samples was set to 1. This is in the post-process volume. That's just, again, because ray reconstruction does a good job. You can actually get away with less candidates and less samples. The default, you know, for those are like 2 and 4, so you can just actually set them down. ReSTIR GI, max bounce is set to 3. And then same thing here, maximum reservoir age. This is history value for ReSTIR. It defaults to 16, which is 16 previous frames. I cut it in half. I set it to 8. It probably makes no real difference. I'm kind of just being like a picky person, but it's you know, it's an option. You can fiddle with the number and see if a number like works better. I did up the number of spatial samples, and then turned on some of the visibility tests that are off by default. Temporal visibility test, spatial visibility test. But admittedly, spatial samples and these visibility tests tend to have a they might improve quality by upping the value or turning them on, but it has a very small impact typically. You know, small to performance and small to quality. So, I mean, you can crank the number way up and see what it does, but you know, may not be that useful in all reality. What else? Yeah, I would point out under custom CVARs and the default engine INI, sample lighting indirect mode 2, that switches it from ReSTIR GI to ReSTIR PT. ReSTIR GI is mode 1, ReSTIR PT is mode 2. There's a sample lighting indirect allow ReSTIR PT simple mode right under that. That's set on. That's just to stabilize the path trace signal. This is a temporary thing that we're doing. In the future, it's been said in previous episodes, in the future, this CVAR is going to go away. So if you have it in your project now, it'll make your path tracing render more stably. In the future, we won't even have the CVAR. If you still leave it there, it'll just overlook it, so it won't affect anything. Yeah, sample lighting lights, sky 0. That's just we're just not path tracing the skylight. It's an option, but it just costs more performance. I didn't talk about this at all. I'm not. I swear to God, I'm not trying to hide anything here, which is why I'm showing you everything. The sample lighting direct equals false. In the scene, it's using megalights for all of its local lighting. And this shows the capability that you have with real-time path tracing. You can have path traced GI, path traced reflections, and mix that with either path traced direct lighting or megalights for all your actor lights. It blends together. You could even make it a preference, right? Like by default, the project is set to megalights on, so every light is a megalight. And just with one CVAR right here, sample lighting direct equals false or true, you can have either path trace direct lighting or megalight direct lighting. Like, you know, take your pick. Both systems are high light count, you know, ray trace lights, basically. There are some quality advantages to using sample lighting, like basically path trace direct lighting. But the scene didn't really take advantage of it. So, for example, translucent colored shadows, like if you had stained glass, you would want that to be a path traced light. But since the scene wasn't really set up for that, megalights was fine. Yeah, I just wanted to demonstrate that you can mix ReSTIR PT with megalights if you want to, and go that direction. Or give end users an option, megalights on or off. Yeah, there's the ray tracing culling value was changed. That's just that actually makes the default culling value for ray tracing in Unreal is a value of 3, which is more aggressive culling. That's why you might see objects popping in and out of shadows, like at a sort of short range. I set it to 2, and what that does is it actually renders further ray tracing values. Considers meshes, even smaller meshes, like really far away. And then the culling angle of 5 is just to try to constrain that a little bit. I think it defaults to a very low number, like a 1, but you can set it up a little bit in order to give it a little bit of a little bit more aggressive culling. So really, these ray tracing culling values are just balancing it towards rendering ray tracing further, like reflections and shadows and stuff like that, and not culling it out so fast. Yeah, and then some of this was redundant. Ray tracing translucency 1 and ray tracing translucency refraction 0. This was just me forcing ray tracing translucency on, make sure that it was always active, like for all the glass and everything. The refraction 0 is just because with translucency on, a lot of the surfaces had, like the flat plane surfaces would have high index of refraction values, and sometimes that would create some artifacts, and I just thought it looked better with a refraction value set to 0. You know, you can control that in your post-process volume, but I was redundantly doing it in the you know, the default engine. And then volumetric fog, inject ray tracing lights 1, just you know, makes it so that you can your volumetric fog works with hardware ray trace lights, whether they're mega lights or sample lights, it doesn't matter. You'll get your fog back, basically your volumetric fog back. But that was, yeah, that was everything. Those were all the tweaks related to rendering and ray tracing that were done in the level.
Hey, Rich, question for you.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, right, if you don't care too much about performance, would increasing lumen scene lighting quality and finer gather quality help out in the quality
Yes.
of the scene? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it would help both hardware lumen and it would help real-time path tracing.
Cool.
Because I want to show you this. If you look in the post-process volume, look under sampled lighting. There's a toggle down here under indirect illumination, ReSTIR GI.
Yeah,
sample lumen, right?
Okay.
It's left on by default. You can see that it's on by default, and I haven't modified it. So by default, ReSTIR path tracing will look at your lumen cards in order to help stabilize the scene and give you greater compatibility with like lumen effects. Or things that would be rendered or touched by lumen, like particle systems and stuff like that. So by default, this is on, but what that means is very technically, it's kind of deviating a little bit from a true path tracer.
Right, okay.
If you wanted true unbiased path tracing, you would turn this off. Sample lumen, turn it off. But the downside to that is that it would give you slightly less stable real-time rendering, probably, right? Like because the path tracer now is not looking at the lumen data, the lumen cards, and that helps to kind of like it deviates you away from like a pure ground truth path tracing, but it gives you sort of greater stability in the rendering, more compatibility in the rendering. Right. So yeah, even the real-time path tracer uses lumen. Like when path tracer is turned on, it's still using some lumen data. So right. Yeah, this other stuff here, where up at the top under lumen global illumination, lumen scene lighting quality, lumen scene detail, final gather quality, you can crank those way up, right? And it'll not only improve lumen hardware ray tracing, it'll improve a little bit the output that path tracing does too, because it feeds off of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So
yeah, I was just curious about those. Yeah.
Yank those values. I mean, you could. I don't know if you knew, but you can yank them higher than the slider will let you.
Yeah, right?
You can plug in like a value of 8 or something. Yeah.
Little cheat.
Little cheat, right? Yeah. And of course, it all costs performance, right? But if you just want to get whatever, if you don't even want 24 FPS, like for an offline rendering or something, then yeah, that's the thing to do. wild card time. Do you have any other subjects you wanna talk about, or
No, man. I mean,
how
honestly,
you feel about everything?
I mean, yeah. I mean, honestly, I just glad to be back. I like talking graphics. I watch a lot of these really on repeat sometimes to just kind of see what's going on in technology going on. And apparently, not a lot of people are covering real time path tracing, but I've always kind of followed it because eventually, I'm hoping we'll be able to render that what we talked about. And
Yeah.
I think it's just really cool technology that I'm constantly watching, and I'm glad people are now seeing these in video games and they're absolutely loving it.
Right.
There's definitely a lot of positivity around this now, which is amazing. Great work with engineers, software people. And it's just a lot of hard work put into it, a lot of engineering, and it's amazing, man.
Yes.
It's cool.
Hundreds. You got to meet a couple of the engineers at Unreal
Right.
Fest, but
Yeah.
hundreds and hundreds of, it might be thousands of engineers at this point pouring insane amounts of effort into the software to, yeah, there's so much background research that leads up to this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, ReSTIR as a technology, as a research paper, I think started 6 years ago or something like that. So
yeah, the paper itself, and that's why somebody was like arguing, I'm like, ReSTIR's been out on paper, but like you're seeing it finally like in video games.
Takes time to productize these things,
right? Exactly.
And really work out all the kinks and actually make it like work in a game, like for real. Yeah, well, it should be an indication that things are, I mean, we got it into Unreal, but then another thing is like getting into all the latest games, right? So I mean, like I was saying before, like I play Indiana Jones and Doom, and those, if it's a big title, it probably is going to have like a path tracing option,
right?
So yeah, it's not a technology that sits still. With each new game release, they're actually doing little improvements to the technology each time and sorting out a few more issues and so forth. So it was really good to have you on the show. So thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
Yeah.